All right, so today we're going to have the distributive property. So how can you use the distributive property to combine like terms to simplify expressions? So quick warm up on the order of operations. You can do these two examples. Pause the video, do them, and then I'll talk through them. All right, so the first one we have 8 times 5 minus 2 plus 11. So remember, order of operations is PEMDAS. We want to start with parentheses. So this one has parentheses. We want to start by subtracting that to get 8 times 3 plus 11. We don't have any exponents. We do have multiplying and no dividing, but multiplying. So we're going to do our multiplication next to get 24 plus 11, and then at the end, our addition and subtraction to get 35 as your answer. The next one, we have parentheses again, so we're going to start with that. So you have 10 minus 3 times 8 minus a negative 1. So remember, this becomes a positive, so you get 9 right there. No exponents. We do have multiplying, so I'm going to multiply first. We have 10 minus 27, then your addition and subtraction to get negative 17. All right, so terms and expressions. A term here is a number or the product of numbers, variables, and exponents. So example would be like 1, 2x, 5x squared, something like that. An expression has one or more terms separated by addition or subtraction. So if you did like 1 plus 2x plus 5x squared, that would be an expression. Every term has a number with it, even if it's not written down, obviously. The number in a term is called the coefficient. It's just a fancy number for name for the number in front. So if we're looking at this term, the coefficient is the number in front that we see. So your coefficient is negative 6. Here we have x cubed. There's no number in front, but if there's nothing written, you can assume the coefficient is 1. So this would be the same as writing 1 x to the third. Coefficient is 1. Here if we have y cubed, your coefficient is going to be these numbers in front, so 4 thirds. Here we have negative z, so don't forget there's a little 1 right there if it's not written. Your coefficient is negative 1. All right, so pause again and work on these. Identify what are the coefficients, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, the first one you should get negative 3, then 22, and then 1, negative 1. This one's a little weird, so you could rewrite this as 1x over 7, and then your coefficient is this, so 1, 7. All right, so different terms are considered like terms if they have the same variables, so like both have x, both have y, and they're raised to the same power. So here's a whole bunch of examples. You want to decide if they're like terms or not. So the first one here, we have 3x and 2x. They both have x's. Both x's are only raised to the first power, so these, yes, are like terms. This one here, you have x to the 11x and then negative 4 over x. So we could rewrite this as negative 4x to the negative 1, because x is on the bottom. We have an x on the bottom and an x on top, so those are not the same. This one here, we have an a b, and a c, and an a, b, and c. The c's are the same, but here b is squared, here b is not squared, a is not squared, a is squared, so these are not like terms. The next one, we have an x squared and an x squared, so that's good. Y to the fourth and y to the fourth, that's good. So these are like terms. Here we have a y and a y squared, they're not the same. So those aren't like terms. Here you have an x and an x, so we're good. Y cubed and y cubed, so we're good. And those are like terms. All right, combining like terms. So algebraic expressions can be simplified by taking the like terms and adding them together, so combining them. And it kind of simplifies. Like you're just going to basically add and subtract the coefficients. So if we're looking at this one, it's really 10y squared minus 1y squared. So you want to take these numbers in front and subtract them. So you end up getting 9y squared as your combined answer. Here we have 8x squared plus 2x minus 3x. These two are the same, so we can combine those. We can't do anything with the 8x squared. So this is just going to drop straight back down. Now when we need to do 2 minus 3, we'll get negative 1x. You can leave it written like this, or you could get rid of the 1 and just write 8x squared minus x. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. The next one, we have y to the third and y to the third. So those would have to go together. And then we also have y to the fourth and y to the fourth. So those can be combined. So if you do 3 minus 1, you get 2y to the fourth. Here we have a 4y cubed. I'm going to write the 1 in front of these. And then 1y cubed. So we're going to add 5y cubed. And that's your final answer. In general, you don't have to do this, but you want to put the highest power first and then the next highest power, kind of like just grammar for math. You want to start with your highest power and go down to your lowest power. Okay, so there's two ways to simplify this. First of all, we can do order of operations like this. So you get 8, subtract these together and you get 3, and then 8 times 3 is going to give you 24. And that's done. The other way we could simplify this is you could distribute in your number. So I could do 8 times 5 and then subtract 8 times 2 from that. So we want 8 times 5 minus 8 times 2. 8 times 5 is 40. And then you're going to subtract 8 times 2, which is 16. And then you'll get the same answer of 24. So for this one with just straight numbers, it doesn't really matter which one you do. It's up to you. So looking at this one, decide, can you do the same thing? Can you distribute and have it work? And then can you also just do parentheses and have it work? The answer is no. We can't do the parentheses because we don't know what x is. You can't subtract 1 from 3x. They're not like terms. So you have to distribute for this one. So you can multiply over here and multiply over here. So you have negative 2 times 3x minus negative 2 times 1. So you get negative 6x here. And then minus negative 2 there. We're going to rewrite this as negative 6x plus 2. And that's how you get that one. All right, so that, what we just did, is called the distributive property. So if you have something like a times b plus c, your answer is ab plus ac. And then here, a times b minus c is ab minus ac. So if we do this, we're going to distribute in. We'll do an example. So if you have 2 times x plus 1, distribute in, you get 2x plus 2 times 1, 2x plus 1. Same idea here, we did that on the other one, except with minus. All right, so try these two examples. Pause, say some time to do them, and then we'll talk about them. All right, so this one, distribute in. 3 times 4 is 12, so you get 12x. 3 times 5 is 15, so minus 15. Here, negative 2 times 10 is negative 20. Negative 2 times negative 1. So if we write this, we get negative, or minus negative 2x. So really your negative 20 plus 2x. You can jump straight to this step if you just do negative 2 times negative 1 and make it positive. All right, so using this to rewrite fractions. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could rewrite this as dividing by 6 is the same as multiplying by 1/6. You could rewrite it like this and then distribute in your fraction. So we'll get 12x over 6 minus 30 over 6. And then from here you can simplify. So 12 divided by 6 is 2, so we get 2x. And then 30 divided by 6 is 5, so it simplifies to 2x minus 5. The other way you can do it is you can skip writing this step and just clump these two together. So we want 2 divided by 8, and we want 11 divided by 8. So here, if we rewrite this, you get 2x over 8 minus 11 over 8. And then you can simplify this down. So 8 can be divided by 2. So we're going to divide this by 2. Divide this by 2 to get x over 4. And we can't do anything with this 11 over 8, so it's just going to stay 11 over 8. Last chunk here. So in distributing a negative to an expression, you're going to change the signs basically. So the sign becomes the opposite of the original. So for example, here, if we're distributing this negative 1, we're not changing the numbers at all, but this negative 10 is going to become a positive 10. This negative 8 becomes a positive 8. So you switch the signs. Here we have this is the same as a negative 1. There's nothing written, it's a pretend 1. Distribute this in, we'll get negative 3 instead of positive 3. And then positive 5 instead of negative 5. And that's it, right there. So make sure you go on Schoology and check your homework. But that's it.